Happy Monday. It's Monday in the big city. I hope you feel good. You look good. I hope I look all right too. I know I need a little cut. But hey, that's besides the point. Hope you had a great weekend. We had a lot of stuff going on. We talked about a lot of different things. I got a lot of different comments. But you know what? That's a part of life. When you put out information, people are allowed to respond, right? So let's get into this guy once again, because, we're not going to go too deeply into it, hopefully, depending on how the news cycle goes and things. But what kind of America do we live in? And I think that it's important to point these things out. It's important to at least educate people, because I get it. Everybody doesn't watch everything. Everybody does not want to be involved in everything, especially political things. But it is important for us, it's like any sector of America or the world, to be informed properly of what's going on. So let's talk about it. Tyler Robinson, the gentleman that you saw in the thumbnail, the gentleman that actually carried out the killing of Charlie Kirk from 200 yards away, I believe it was. As many people have probably seen, he's not a Democrat. Whoa, get out of town. Oh, okay, guess what? He's not trans. Whoa. Are you serious? He's not black. Oh, my God. He's not in a gang. No, you didn't. And guess what? He is actually from the state, and the governor actually talked about this, said that he wished that it wasn't somebody from his great state of Utah, which is probably a great state, because I'm going to tell you something. There are great people everywhere. So, like I always say, it's easy just to paint with a broad brush and try to accuse everybody, as opposed to getting to the core of what certain issues are. So let's look at some of those issues. So you may say, hey, Utah, probably not a lot of black people out there. You're absolutely right. The state of Utah has been reported to have over 86% of its population is white. 50% of its population are registered Republican, and 29% are other, or Democrat, or something, 14% Democrat, 29% other. You get what I'm saying. You can check it out, but just think about what I'm saying. Over 86% white. So the chances that there would be someone black out there, and of course somebody could have driven out there to carry out that heinous act, because we typically know that it doesn't matter, because a lot of people have means to get transportation and things like that. But typically, and we do know from school shootings, that these are typically more slender, white gentlemen from middle America, or younger men from middle America. And what I was talking about the other day is that although there's violence everywhere, in particular in the inner city, we never get to focus on the violence that's anywhere else, that happens anywhere else, where you have a lot of kids, and I'm not going to even justify it right now at this point, because I think it's too heated right now with even showing you some of the things that I've seen online from mostly people, I guess, that live in these rural areas, that believe in militia and believe in just different things like that. So these people have taken the time, and like I said, you can do your own research, to talk about how if they had to, because they're already weaponed up, strapped up, they got everything, and if they were going to come and attack the liberals, that the liberals would be dead faster than what we known it. Sounds like a modern day wanting of a civil war. But when they talk about liberals and everybody, it's funny how it still comes back down to black people. Again, you because let's face it, like I said the other day, 85% of black people are what in this country? Democrat. Okay? So you're throwing us in there. I'm not even sure what the population is of Utah Valley State University, where it happened. I'm sure it's not high, if any, as far as a black enrollment. But yet the HBCUs got threatened this weekend. Now, I know, I get it. There's a bunch of crazy people out here, so they can say and do whatever they want to do. But doggone it, why does it keep coming back down to the Browns? What did we do? Just because you had some people on the internet trolling, which is awful, but that's what the internet does, and talking about that they're happy that he's dead, and half of them may not even have heard or known what he talked about or said, because even me, I knew who he was, but I had to do a deeper dive, because once I hear, just like with Nick Fuentes, who we'll get into in a second, just like I know about what he stands for, I don't necessarily listen to them too much, but I do listen to them, especially since I do this, to have a frame of reference of what they have said, so I can be educated myself on what I'm talking about, as opposed to just spewing somebody else's points. So you threaten the HBCUs, you do all of this other kind of stuff. A lot of Republican high-ranking figures, including the president, have chosen, as opposed to trying to quell the situation and make it better, they've chosen to blow it up and make it worse. And even the president of the United States, this is why I told y'all, this is why I said to you, especially the black brethren out there, you know better. We know better. And secondly, forget whether you're black or white, we know better. We knew better. We knew that this kind of clown behavior that this president shows and has shown before could only get worse. But you don't hear me though, because a lot of times if you vote for somebody like that, you don't care though. Like I said the other day, you know, it's funny. Everybody wants to ride with the bully because that makes you a coward. Because you're scared to fight yourself. And I get it. When you're a kid, when you're young, it's understandable. But as you become older, as you become wiser, as you become just more knowledgeable about a situation, then you understand. He calls this guy Charlie Kirk, and like I said, he shouldn't have died. So I don't want anybody watching this saying he shouldn't have died. He should have died for what he did. I don't believe that at all. And I think that it's wrong. But how do you call somebody a great patriot when other people, how about this? You want to call somebody a patriot? I've been a patriot longer than he was. I'm 51 years old. I've been an American citizen longer than a lot of people. So you mean to tell me, though, from his own rhetoric, you wouldn't trust if one of my kids became a pilot, if I were the pilot, if I were a doctor, who I happen to know a good doctor, Dr. Ben Bullock, you're the man, medical doctor he is. So you mean to tell me that these people are not good enough because of affirmative action and DEI and just all other kind of stuff? So we're not good enough to do these things, but we are good enough to live in this country. We're good enough to pay taxes. We're good enough to do everything else. We're good enough to dunk a ball for you. We're good enough to run a touchdown, right? But we're not good enough to be involved in any of the intellectual positions or careers that would affect and help out to advance society. So I don't care, because I got comments this weekend. People say, oh, well, you're taking it out of context and you're such and such. And I appreciate all of the feedback because they were respectful for the most part. But what I'm saying is that you don't say those types of things. When you start talking about people, okay, I have my own viewpoints about people. I have my own views about different things that happen in life. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to get up here, whether we only got 2 people that watch this. I'm not going to get up here and tell those other 2 people, hey, guess what? This whole group of people is wrong. Now, we all have smaller private conversations with loved ones or people that we trust, and we feel like we can have a different type of dialogue, and that's fine. But once you get a platform, once you have other people, once you decide I'm going public with this information, you have to be responsible with the information. You cannot be a jerk giving out information just because you know it riles up a group of people. Now, we all get it. We know we're not going to tell everybody's not going to be able to do that. And look, that's how Charlie Kirk was able to get his money. It said that he was on the payroll for Trump. He was getting over $300,000 a year. He's raised, I don't know if it was collectively or just for last year, over $90 million for the Republican Party. So nobody is going to challenge his ability to galvanize people. That's not what we're talking about. But we can't be in a situation where we continue to hurt, harm, and offend people. Because just like even with this guy, Tyler Robinson, his grandmother spoke out over the weekend and said, he's a sweet kid. She doesn't believe that he did it. Her name is Debbie Robinson. Check it out. Said that she doesn't believe that he did it. That he's a shy kid and he's just a good kid. And she's never known him to shoot a gun in her life. Although, to the contrary, if you look this up, you will see pictures of him holding guns. You actually see him sitting down. It looks like some type of military, I don't know, something, where there's a soldier standing behind him with a rifle. He's sitting down on the ground in front of, in back of, actually, a 50 caliber gun. And if anybody's ever seen a 50 caliber bullet that comes out of one of those 50 caliber guns, the bullet is bigger than your cell phone. And a lot of times they're so deadly, they can pierce a tank. So what I'm saying to you is, he has been brought up, Tyler, I'm talking about, to know about guns, to shoot guns. Who knows if he was practicing shooting? Because that's just really crazy that somebody from 200 yards away needed to know wind velocity, different things like that, to be able to get up on the roof, to be able to scope him out, to know, exactly how to get to him, and then still hit him and kill him with one shot. It's awful. But you still got these people, even the president. And that's why I say, the top guy cannot be a jerk. The top guy cannot act evil. Because when the top guy acts like that, it allows other people to demonstrate their evil. So you may say, well, Greg, what does that have to do with what happened with this situation? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened, and we're going to talk about it briefly, to go to Nick Fuentes. So we all think, hey, the Trump party, the Republican party, oh, they're just this one group of people. No, what it is that, and I even had to find this out myself, was that Charlie Kirk got a little too mainstream for the white nationalists and the people to the right that felt like, hey, Charlie's getting a little soft. So what happens when one is getting all of the fame, all of the publicity, he's the nice guy, he's the guy next door, and these other folks feel like, hey, look, I'm the one that really stands for what this Republican right-wing, hardcore Republican is. They start feeling a type of way. They start feeling like, hey, why not me? And that was Nick Fuentes. So Nick Fuentes was at odds with Charlie Kirk. Shout out and credit to Don Lemon. I found out a lot of information on Don Lemon's channel. Go check that out. Don Lemon, formerly of CNN. Where you got a situation where they bumped heads because Nick Fuentes was upset that Charlie Kirk was now standing up for Israel. Or one of the issues. This guy, Tyler Robinson, that killed him, okay, was further right along with Nick Fuentes than Charlie Kirk was. So let's see if you look at it like that. So if you got MAGA right here to the right, you got Charlie Kirk right here next to MAGA, then you got Nick Fuentes and his group called the Groupers to the far right. So let's do it again. MAGA's right. Charlie Kirk is with MAGA right here. And then to the far right of Charlie Kirk are the Groupers. The more radical, the most radical, or one of the most radical types of groups that the Republican Party has. And guess what? Trump, from what I hear, has had dinner with both. Well, he was much closer with Charlie Kirk, but he also had dinner with Fuentes. And it's funny. Well, it's not funny. None of this is funny. But it's terrible because Tyler Robinson, when they started going through his social media and stuff, they saw that he was down with Nick Fuentes and the Groypers. That he even, at a certain point, dressed like Donald Trump for Halloween. That even supposedly the little markings on the bullets, the guns, all that, were synonymous with the Groypers. So what does it mean? Does it mean that we're all in danger? Or does that mean what most people knew, especially most black people, that there's a bunch of people out there that hate us and that just hate other people? And there's nothing that we can do about it. Like I've said before, what did black people ever do to the rest of this country besides help to build it? I was talking to a friend the other day and I said, it's just amazing because, and I say this and I mean it, the world is full of great people. I think most people are great. I think most people are good, rather, I think. So when you have someone that promotes hate or people and does all kinds of other kind of stuff, unfortunately, a lot of people get lumped in together, and they shouldn't be. I think there are really, really good people out there of all colors. So let's stop focusing on the one darker color. Nell Carter once had this song in his TV show called "Give Me a Break," because I sure deserve it. But you tell me how you feel. Or put it in the comments, as people have done all weekend. And once again, I appreciate it, and I don't mind the spirited debate, because that's what it's about, as long as we remain respectful. And oh, by the way, if you choose to, okay, if you choose to, live life. Don't let life live you.